Hi guys from Canada, today I'm gonna be blindfolded and I'm gonna be listening 5 LA2A plugins. I will try to prove I can hear the difference between plugin manufacturers even though they claim digital is digital and they just emulate LA2A. And the question is how they can make authentic LA2A emulation if all these plugins sound different. Then a very useful gem, I'm gonna explain the tone of these plugin manufacturers, Waves, Universal Audio, Native Instruments, IK Multimedia, Softube. And don't miss the most useful part of this video, I'm gonna explain why you don't hear the difference and I can hear it. By the way guys, you have the opportunity to attend one class for free of one of the best and most mind-blowing audio production courses. You will be connected to one of the next oncoming classes and my students to view exactly how we study. Imagine the course which you didn't expect to find, like a gem. Instead of being a little guy among all these big plugin manufacturers, you're gonna be the other level audio engineer who's supposed to be higher than all these big guys. They actually commonly bullshit you by creating their own theory to sell you a plugin. You remain at the same level, you waste your time, you don't become a guru of audio production, and eventually you go like, what is the best compressor? My course is designed to give you the opportunity not to be like this. I teach you how to hear, critical thinking approach, we bust a lot of myths and we have only rare and the most effective methods in every subject of audio production. And we have almost all subjects of audio engineering in this course. As a bonus, we have absolutely unique homework checking sessions where I open your own projects in front of you in real time and I explain your mistakes, I show you every aspect. Use this video as an example how I explain, but don't forget I have a policy, I put only 10% of the power of my course to my videos, because I have to keep 90% of the power of my course for my students. So after watching this video, get a free trial class to see those other 90% of the power of my course and then you can enroll. 9 months, real-time classes, monthly payments. The information about me, my course and 260 reviews you can find in the first pinned comment or in the description. But instead of reading, the point is I don't convince you by words. You need to view my course by yourself. Ask me for the course details with the email I provided and get one free trial class. How to contact me, the information is in the first pinned comment or on the screen. Let's have some fun. First I'm gonna explain how I set up compressors and what projects I'm gonna be using. Over here I have a project from Telefunken Company, pretty dirty project, vocal recorded in a dirty way and vocal fluctuates pretty a lot. So LA2A will be very useful to even out volume changes, and as LA2A is very colorful compressor, its extensive coloration will be applied to already pretty dirty sounding vocal, and we're gonna hear more difference in terms of saturation. Also, I'm gonna play the second project, it will be much better recorded, it will be my own project with my own vocal. This is first contender, Universal Audio, UAD. This is the screw, it's a sidechain filter over there. A lot of people think it's a high-pass filter, but actually it's not. If I'm gonna use it somehow, compressor will be considering high frequencies more to compress, you know, rather than mids and lows. In this case, compressor becomes sort of a compressor slash de-esser. The problem with this, some plugins have it, some plugins don't have it, and even if you put it in particular position, let's say 12 o'clock, or anyway there is tolerance. If you set up every plugin at 12, it will not be exactly the same frequency on all plugins I'm gonna use. You can even find it in the description of R37 parameter, which is this one, in the original analog manual, and actually original manufacturers don't even like recommend to use it by default, it's like extra feature. From this point of view, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this screw in positions where it doesn't filter like normal compressor, so we're gonna test it in this way. So I put this screw on this plugin all the way to the right, as this vocal is pretty dynamic. I'm gonna be using a lot of decibels of reduction, probably like 7 decibels on LA2A. Treating people just like pawns and chess. On chess 5, on people 7, right? On pawn 10. I need to adjust overall volume of this compressor to be in the mix with guitars and drums. So it would take probably a lot of time right now to match these volumes between all other contenders in this test, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do it by myself, so you're not gonna waste your 30 minutes watching how I'm gonna set up those knobs. But I'm gonna make all those compressors relatively similar in volume as much as I can get, with exactly the same behavior of on gain reduction meters. So second plugin will be Waves by Chris Rodelgi. He's not actually the big user of LA2A, but this plugin his signature compressor, you know what I mean? This is the screw, flat on the right side, so I put screw all the way to the right. Again, peak reduction. To chest 5 dB, people 7, and pon 10 dB. I adjust volume. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Then we go to the next plugin. IK Multimedia by default has a limiter mode, by the way. I switched to compressor mode to get soft knee compressor with roughly 3-to-1, like all other compressors. It doesn't have a screw, so I use it as it is. So this is VC2A by Native Instruments, but actually originally it's made by Softube. I don't engage detector HP, which is sidechain. And this is Opto compressor, which is also Softube. After I make the main test, I will compare older Softube LA2A and newer Softube LA2A. Sidechain emphasis to the flat position all the way to the left on this plugin. As LA2A is pretty known for coloration, so I'm gonna put drive to 12 o'clock, which stays, by the way, in my studio, brand new from Universal Audio. It's $5,000 compressor, it stays over there. Okay, after I set up all compressors, of course I can go like this. It will not be blindfold challenge trying to guess plugins, it would be more like blindfold challenge trying to hit the plugin on the screen by the mouse cursor. What I'm gonna be using is an assistant. The guy will be off the camera, but working with my laptop. So laptop has a screen which will be only given to the assistant. I'm gonna turn this screen off, so I'm not gonna see anything. Screen is turned off, as you can see. I never was a guy who believed in the theory like if you close your eyes you hear better. If I close my eyes I feel more uncomfortable, more unusual, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of will be even hearing differently in comparison to how I hear on a daily basis in mixing and in real life, you know what I mean? So I don't prefer to close my eyes. But I'm gonna be just looking around, you know, at speakers or something like this. So I give a mouse cursor to the assistant. And I'm gonna be pressing space bar on my computer keyboard just to play, stop, play, stop. So look how we're gonna do it. After I turn my screen off, my assistant gonna randomly put 4 of these compressors in specific order, so I will not know which is which, but we're gonna call them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm gonna be telling the assistant play 1, I press play on my computer keyboard, I listen to it, I press stop, and then I ask to give me second example. Then I'm gonna ask maybe to compare like 1 versus 3, let's play like 4 versus 2, and I'm gonna try to guess which plugin manufacturer is which. I'm not gonna edit this part of the video, so you're gonna be sure it's an authentic test in blindfold way. So I'm gonna turn the screen off. My assistant gonna mess with the order of those 4 compressors, so please do it. I'm waiting, as you can see. Okay, ready. Now what we're gonna do, play first option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Second option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Third option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Fourth option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. First option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Second option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Third option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Fourth option. Treating people just like pawns and chess. Okay, I'm sure that option 1 is waves. I'm sure that option 2 is Softube. But I'm not sure which is which in terms of option 3 and 4. Play me option 3. 4,
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
3,
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
4,
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
again 3,
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
4,
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
I think universal audio is 3, IK multimedia is 4. Let's check it out. I'm gonna turn my screen on. Woohoo! All correct. I did it. I knew I can do it. You know, because it's pretty obvious. They don't sound all like LA2As. They kind of sound all like LA2A, kind of. But they anyway sound like waves, like Softube, like universal audio, and like IK multimedia. And in a second I'm gonna tell you exactly how to find out, really, and what's the difference between these plugin manufacturers. But before we go, let's actually compare older. I'm gonna take mouse cursor for a second, mouse controller. So we're gonna look at the screen. This one, right? Second, versus the bottom one, which is Authentic Compressor. So choose between these two and play blind test. Let's do it. I'm gonna turn my screen off. Okay. Choose last one or second one, up to you which one you would choose first. And we're gonna call it option A. Option A.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
Other option.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
Other option.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
Other option.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
Other.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
Other.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
It's first generation of Softube plugins, which is Native Instruments plugin. This is called VC2A right now. I turn my screen on. Yeah, second guess is right. Okay, awesome. By the way, check the first pinned comment of this video to find my email to send me a request for one free trial class. Okay, now let me explain how I know which plugin is which and what exactly I know about the tone of these plugin manufacturers, which I can hear. What helps me to understand sounds of these compressors is first of all knowledge, secondly my perfect studio setup, my monitors, acoustics in the studio and stuff like this. In the end, as I promised you, I'm gonna give you absolutely amazing conclusion in this video. I'm gonna explain why you may not hear all this and why I can hear it. Okay, the first plugin in this test was Waves. Waves fluctuates like crazy. Maybe Waves just simply didn't implement so-called two-stage release of this compressor, which always like polishes much more. That's why it never like really fluctuates too aggressively. But on Waves plugin it actually fluctuates like crazy. Vocal doesn't stay in the mix properly. It was going up and down and I instantly noticed it. In comparison to other three options, I felt like this one is the most fluctuating. I instantly knew it was Waves. Second thing, what really gave me an idea it was Waves is the second harmonic. There is literally no compressors out of these 5 other than Waves which has mostly exaggerated second harmonic. And the problem is, Waves put this exaggerated second harmonic in most of their plugins. So even in those devices where second harmonic is not supposed to be, as loudest, you can find second harmonic as the loudest. This is how Waves plugin probably try to make their plugins warmer. When we come to the question of authenticity of emulation, my question is, do I want some random plugin with the skin of LA2A, which looks like LA2A, but always has some second harmonic? Who knows what reason, you know? I was promised to get authentic LA2A emulation, and we get for some reason this second harmonic exaggerated over here. Of course, I can say maybe they went to the studio of Chris Rodelgi and maybe something in his chain influenced this particular LA2A. Maybe they got very unique LA2A over there, which for some reason has second harmonic exaggerated. But I cannot say it, you know why? Because most of Waves plugins have second harmonic exaggerated. Compression, as you remember, we have like 5 dB compression, 7 dB of compression, and 10 dB of compression and at different words. When you have so much compression on LA2A, out of these 5 compressors, is the only one which raises high frequencies. And actually it's kind of normal actually for LA2A. The more you compress, the more high frequency range, high frequency response you get. To be honest, it's a question about authenticity of all these 5 plugins. They all claim, oh, we make authentic emulations, the most meticulously created recreation of legendary processor. Then the question is, why is the only plugin out of these 5 which raises high frequencies and other plugins don't do it? Second plugin on our list was Softube. How I knew it was Softube? Tone of this compressor literally give me an idea. It has a bit silkier top end. It's almost like little bit of this kind of a sidechain engaged, like micro engagement of this sidechain. Secondly, third harmonic. One harmonic especially kind of exaggerated is the third harmonic. It instantly gives me a contrast to the Waves plugin, which has more like thicker, more density of a sound, you know, in like low, mid and stuff. This compressor doesn't like if some initial note is too loud. He said pawn too loud, you know, and this compressor captures this pawn like too much and over compresses pawn. Listen to the pawn. Pawn sounds almost like much quieter than words nearby.
Treating people just like pawns and chess.
You know, like the pawn to chess, you know, like. So I kind of felt like it's Softube. This is universal audio. It was quite easy to guess. It sounds a bit raw, you know, its coloration, it's all about just odd harmonics, and it sounds anyway not as silky, not as polished as Waves, as Softube, you know, it sounds a bit more raw. And I kind of associate this sort of sound with compressors of universal audio. IK Multimedia is very known company for exaggerated harmonics. So I always felt like IK Multimedia has sometimes some harmonics in their structures always exaggerated like so much that no other plugin manufacturer boosts them as much, you know what I mean? For example, on this particular compressor, harmonics are odd harmonics and they literally exaggerated, which means third harmonic much louder than the second, fifth harmonic much louder than the fourth, seventh harmonic much louder than the sixth, 9 harmonic is much louder than 8th, and 11 harmonic much louder than 10th, and so on. Like something special like going on in the sound of this compressor. Also, IK Multimedia very known for like fatness. Fairchild have like roll-off on highs, their Pultec, narrower curve on the bell filter of Pultec, which literally when you boost it, you don't boost so many different frequencies around. Because of this, Pultec sounds fatter. As it doesn't have this screw, which controls sidechain, this is what I noticed instantly when I was listening to this plugin. Probably IK Multimedia turned this screw to some position, then they measured this plugin, and then they print it as a final plugin. You know, but we don't have access to the screw. So that's why it was the only out of 4 plugins which had a bit more extra de-essing effect, and I noticed those a bit lack of highs. I didn't notice it instantly because I was searching for the tone, and this extra exaggerated odd harmonics gave me a clue that it was IK Multimedia. Remember, we compared Softube/native instruments versus second generation of Softube compressor called Opto compressor. This compressor originally has odd harmonics, but I specifically use this drive. Drive raises harmonics of even kind. So second, fourth, sixth, eighth, 10, those harmonics go up. So this compressor become like warm, you know. And again, don't get me wrong, all this information which I explain in this video, they don't tell you this. They maybe sometimes don't even know this. Plugin manufacturers sometimes don't know too much things because they're great programmers, but in terms of audio engineering, they sometimes don't even understand something what they are doing. So what I'm telling you today, it's not from some manuals or some tutorials. It's all my experience working with these compressors. First of all, I noticed in all modern so-called better emulations of Softube, Softube claims they created this like MK2 type of plugins, which is like better and more authentic emulations than older ones. But actually I noticed they actually fluctuate more. If you apply on some dynamic, let's say vocal performance, these compressors actually don't hold dynamics as good as actually older Softube plugins, which sometimes sound more like this one anyway goes like so it fluctuates in volume. The same goes for their 1176 MK2. The same goes for Distressor emulation, which they recently made. These new plugins actually have this disadvantage, they actually fluctuate more. But again, I'm not talking it's a really big disadvantage. You can figure out how to stabilize dynamics, obviously, and stuff. But I just provide the information what the benefit can be in MK1 in comparison to MK2. And of course, anti-aliasing filter. Aliasing, it's a subject which seems like a lot of people kind of know but don't know at the same time. The point is, if you work, let's say, in 44K, you have boundary frequency called 22K. Which means, if your instrument look like this, then you apply any enhancer or you blend any harmonic to the sound, which compressors actually bring to the table. Compressors actually bring extra harmonics. Any overtone, let's say this one, has its own harmonic above. Some harmonic can be here, but some harmonics can go above the boundary, above 22K. Once you have any peak over here, it will create an artifact in the audible spectrum. It will throw itself like a mirror effect to the left side of 22K boundary frequency. And this new overtone has nothing to do with the real sound of your instrument, but this little extra peak will be in the frequency response of your instrument anyway. It will sound artificial, sometimes it sounds very quiet, very subtle, and you kind of don't care. Some people believe it's quiet, but from the other side, it seems like it's dirt in your sound. Maybe you don't need it really. Some people may even claim they kind of like this kind of extra bite in the sound, you know what I mean? But anyway, what I'm saying, a lot of plugin manufacturers nowadays want to filter it. It's called anti-aliasing filter. It's a filter which basically filters all possible harmonics going above 22K. So again, this overtone creates this harmonic and this harmonic. This one literally doesn't exist because of this anti-aliasing filter. Older generation of Softube doesn't have this filter. So Softube has a bit more those artifacts over here, and I can hear it. And I can say, oh, this is first generation. Second version has this high anti-aliasing filter like this, which actually filters those overtone, and you have much clearer part over here. You don't have any strange overtones put randomly because of aliasing. And your sound is clear. And this is what I noticed when we were listening this test, and this is how I guessed which is which. Okay, now my assistant has a mouse cursor. No, doesn't have mouse cursor. Okay. Okay, I'm ready to do the second test. I'm gonna turn my screen off. It's absolutely raw song, so don't expect like finalized sound. We're at the stage of the compressor over here. Vocal will sound raw and stuff like this, but you still will get some idea how it sounds like. But for me, it would be all about to get this compressor. So my assistant right now gonna mess with the order. Okay. Okay, let's select first compressor, and I'm gonna play it. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Second. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Third. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Fourth. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. First. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Second. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Third. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Fourth. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Let's play second versus third. Second. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. One more time, second. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Third. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Okay, second is universal audio. Let's play first. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. Let's play third. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. This one, okay, let's play fourth. Back for rhythm, bridge for lead. Actually, it's quite opposite. It's a Softube, so fourth is Softube. First is waves. This is my answers. Let's check it out. First is waves. Second is universal audio, as I said. Third, IK multimedia, and fourth, Softube. I guessed all three, all four. That's it. Woohoo! It's good. This test isn't actually, you really need to work on this test for sure, because it's much more subtle than in the first project. Okay. That's enough. Okay, conclusion number one. They all claim it's authentic emulations of LA2A, but as you can see, waves has second harmonic exaggerated, some of them have odd harmonic, some of them have just third harmonic exaggerated. Some plugins boost high frequencies under compression, other plugins don't boost any high frequencies, you know what I mean? In terms of dynamics control, they kind of different. Some of them more like silky, some of them like raw, like universal audio. So where is authentic LA2A emulation, you know what I mean? But again, in the end of the day, it's a good mixing tools. For mixing, you can use this. I don't mean like, oh, don't use them. I mean, who knows if it's really authentic emulation. But as a mixing tools, it's just a good compressors, you know. Second conclusion, which is the most important. If you want to learn audio production to each molecule of the sound, you're gonna understand phase, frequency, and amplitude. like nobody else. Instead of hype and chasing after, oh, what's the best plugin in 2024? Instead of this, you're gonna learn how to become a guru of audio production. This course can be completely something what you didn't expect to find. Just get one class for free to check it out. The information how to contact me is in the first pinned comment or on the screen.